Hello, my name is Vivi Smith, and today I'll be reading Single Black Male Addicted to Female by KeAughn. So I actually came across this book on Amazon. The title was just screaming out to me. I had to see, what is single black male addicted to females? Like, what does that mean? So I ordered it from Amazon, like I said. So let's dive right into it. See what's going on. So I'm going to start with the prologue. The first court day with Veronica. KeAughn weaved his car carefully through Atlanta streets as a torrential downpour slowed to a bone-chilling mist. Rain pooled against the curbs of the street, and women tiptoed across intersections, hurrying to get out of the winter rain. He spotted a place to park in front of the now-discarded Atlanta Underground, so he took the time while sitting in his car to gather himself before entering the century-old Louis R. Slatton courthouse across the street. Thumbing through his phone, he saw some recent photos of his two teenage sons. One grinned from his bike, the other, older, was focused intently on a video game. He thought again of the $1,500 that could have gone to his sons for Christmas, and instead was being wasted on a lawyer and court fees. Emotions had overruled reason, and he was paying the price. He got out of his foreign sedan and stood on the sidewalk. The trees were lined up like a group of sages, with their branches shaking like bony fingers, delivering admonishment over his cleanly shaven head. The hindsight of knowing better than to get into this type of disagreement annoyingly settled into the pit of his stomach. As he walked this gauntlet, he mused on his own history of relationships and his lack of understanding of the current dating world. From ages 23 to 40, he had been in just 2 relationships, a total of 17 years straight. He had missed out on the roaring 20s of dating, and navigating the world of dating as a grown man made him feel like he was herding cats. He felt the sorrowful realization that his memory and interpretation of expectations and display of accepted chivalry was quite frequently considered outdated. Yet, he reminded himself, even though he had found his own idealized Claire Huxtable early in life and made 2 beautiful children with her, the relationship didn't last. Even when he found another woman to spend 7 years with after his marriage ended, that didn't end in a rose petal walk down the aisle. And now, here he was about to walk down another aisle in a courtroom to face down an ex-girlfriend who had implicitly turned into an enemy. Veronica. He had been with her for only 8 months, but he had been infatuated since the beginning. In the cold morning, it was easy to wonder how sincerely he had felt love for her. The emotions she stirred up in him were so deep that her absence made him feel as if his heart had been ripped out by one of the walking dead. There was a hole and emptiness within him, as much as he tried to ignore it. At a point, he considered the beginning of the end, realizing that the relationship was growing toxic. He had sought the advice of a relationship coach and matchmaker named Layla Hazel. She advised him to take a 30-day break in contact with Veronica and anybody else, so he could detox and have a fresh start. It was easy to regret that he hadn't taken her advice now, or maybe had just not spoken to her about Veronica at all, and let her set him up with someone who would be happy to have him. But he knew it wouldn't have done any good, as he was too head over heels with Veronica to think about anyone else. Nearing the stairs, he paused to put on his reading glasses, adjust his tie, and smooth the lapels of his brand new black suit. Actually, she inched closer to her daughter and avoided any eye contact with him. Despite himself in the situation, he felt a bit stunned by this gesture because it spoke to her feelings towards him. Veronica and her mom had been notoriously at odds and estranged for years, and their strained relationship was something that Veronica had routinely vented to him about while they were together. She even went as far as to ignore her mother's phone calls and prevent her from interacting with her grandson on video chat. It had been hard for KeAughn to watch, as close as he was to his own children. But now he saw the new cohesion between Veronica and Miss Rubio. He guessed they had allied against an outsider, himself. Did Miss Rubio even remember how Veronica had stopped payments on the Charlotte home where she resided while she was struggling to earn her degree in counseling? Veronica adjusted her glasses over the broad ridge of her nose and turned her head slightly to glance at her mother. She wore contacts mostly, but donned the glasses when she wanted to appear sophisticated and credible. KeAughn remembered the times he nuzzled his own nose against hers after a long night of lovemaking. Those almond-shaped brown eyes held worlds inside of them. Her shoulder-length hair grazed her neck like Cleopatra's crown of glory. The elevator doors opened to a mostly empty hallway as Veronica straightened her attire and put on her Rutgers Medical School and New York Medical College airs. This was the "don't mess with me because I am more educated than you" attitude. KeAughn had seen it before. He remembered how he lost several debates while they were dating, with her last words being, "Do you know how many letters I have behind my name, Key?" The formidable force that could wipe the puzzle word board game clean before any opponent and give Ken Jennings a run for his Jeopardy. Toto strutted inside the courtroom with boldness and a tattoo of doctored up documents. She was ready to financially, socially, and emotionally cripple a brother like Kunta Kinte in his iron slave collar. KeAughn surveyed the dated wood panel courtroom and didn't see his lawyer. He frantically tapped out a text message, feeling sweat gather on his brow. Where was he? Standing alone in the back of the courtroom, he watched as Veronica played her evidence on the table, meticulous as always, stopping every so often to crack her knuckles. She was planning to represent herself. The notion shocked him. Like a black widow spider, she had gathered her defense so she could trap him with verbal blows and then belittle him to an unpleasant, calculated death. A warm layer of sweat gathered on the back of his neck as the judge repeatedly called for his case. His relief at finally receiving a reply text was offset by the judge's response to hearing the chime on his phone. "Mr. Green, approach the bench," the judge said through a gritted teeth. KeAughn trudged up the long aisles, feeling Veronica's eyes upon him. The judge scowled thunderously. There are at least 3 signs throughout the courtroom indicating that cell phones must be silenced in court. We will be confiscating yours for the duration of the trial. You may pick it up at the front desk as we adjourn." Veronica snickered. The snarky laugh added salt to his wounded ego. He slunk back to his seat as his lawyer rushed into the courtroom. "Double book," he murmured. "Today?" KeAughn asked, but his relief was real. While his lawyer prepared his documentation and opening statements, KeAughn glanced at Veronica one last time and emotionally fortified himself for the circus of the case to begin. How the hell did I get here? And that's the prologue. On to chapter 1.